this simple practice has focus. It's a bhavana, they call it. And the focus for this practice is peace or calm, but you can put in any focus that you want to. So they actually start sitting down. I quite like to start standing up because it stretches the muscles in a slightly different way. So it's very gentle. So as we often do, lift and roll the shoulders. Lift the toes consciously, and just as consciously replace the toes back onto the floor. Breathing in, raise the right hand. The left hand just slightly holds the thigh, and then just go over a lateral stretch to the left, bouncing perhaps in and out. Breathing in, press the feet down, hand stretches up, and as you breathe out, lower the right arm. Lift and roll the right shoulder a couple of times, and then set that back down. Breathing in, raise the left arm, stretch it up, just breathe normally in between times, and then breathing out, again hold your thigh. Feel that you're between a couple of panes of glass so that your twist is minimised. It's a lateral focus. Breathing in, come to the top, stretching, and breathing out, lower the arms. Lift and roll the left shoulder a couple of times. And then breathing in, turning the head to the left. Just linger here for an in and an out breath. Come to the centre, and breathing out, turn the head to the right. And again, lingering here for an in and an out breath. Come to the centre, and this is just a nod to the other direction. Slightly lift the chin and raise the eyes. And then bring the head to the centre, and the next is optional to subtly lower the chin, otherwise keep the chin facing forwards. And breathing in, coming back to the centre. And hands on the waist, just opening the space under the lungs, pressing the feet down, lengthening the body, and very subtly turn to the left, just bouncing slightly in and out. Come back to the centre, and then subtly just turn to the right, bouncing in and out. And then come back to the centre and release the hands. Lift and roll both shoulders. And then just connect the tips of the fingers to just underneath the shoulder, where the shoulder meets the arms. I don't know if there's a point. It's a K27 in Eastern medicine, but I don't know what it is. And just tap. So if at any point you're feeling slightly flustered, this can reconnect us to our vital energy. And the K27 is the kidney 27. The meridian runs through this point, obviously through the kidneys, but the kidney essence connects to our entire vitality. And at this time of year, it can often be a little bit sluggish. And then just release the hands back down. Lift and roll the shoulders. And then opening these points, clasping the hands behind the back, knuckles to the ground, opening at the shoulder level, and just subtly lift the hands away from you, turning to the left. And again, you can bounce in and out or stay static. It's your choice. And coming to the centre, and then just very gently turn to the right. And then just come back to the centre, release the arms, and then breathing in, raise the arms up above you, soften the shoulders down, so you might not stretch quite as much, and open the fingers. Thumbs perhaps going towards the head and little fingers away from you. And then bring the tips of the fingers together and just lower the hands to the heart centre. Hakini mudra, as you bring your focus to the tips of the fingers. The energy emanating from the fingers is reconnecting within the auric field. So you're conserving in Eastern philosophy rather than losing energy. And then just release the hands. And feet a little bit apart as you just gently sway from side to side. And if you choose to lift the heel, you're balancing the pelvis anyway, and lifting the heel just brings a focus to that balance, but it's moving all the energies through the body. And then slowing the swaying movement down. And then coming to stillness. Just feel free to adjust your feet at any point. I'm going to bring mine to a narrow hip width apart, and we're going to come to flying, but feel free to adjust that. So this is moving all the joints. Actually, this would be quite a good one for children, because it just again gets their focus and they quite like the flying, and they're moving all their body. So it's an exercise they can teach Granny at Christmas time. And very Eastern, very Tai Chi. And then just make the next one your last one. And lower the hands. So we're going to come to a seated position on the mat. If you would like a bolster or a blanket or a block, tell me and I'll get it.
I've got a book if I need it here. I'll say thank you.
Brilliant, okay. So coming to a seated position and reconnecting with today's class focus, your bhavana. So the focus of this sequence is normally peace and calm. And left hand goes to the chest or heart area, and right hand goes to the navel area. You can keep your eyes open or closed. People who have suffered trauma, and also quite often in institutions like prisons, for instance, people can't close their eyes. It induces a feeling of insecurity. And imagine a thread. It can be gold or it can be silver. And that thread is linking the chest, the heart centre, with the navel. So the thread is not taut, but it's not collapsed. It's just a gentle thread connecting the two areas. And it begins to focus on breath awareness and diaphragmatic breathing. But the next movement, the placement of the hands, increases this focus of diaphragmatic breathing a little bit more. So releasing the hands and bringing them to somewhere that's comfortable on the ribs. You can have the thumbs behind you, the elbows will be out to the side. And just feel the ribs moving under your hands. Slows the breath down because there's an appreciation of the ribs moving into the hands. And just very gently release that hold. Bring your hands back to comfortably on your knees or in your lap. And we're going to do a modified Brahmari breath, which increases the nitric oxide and gives numerous benefits into the body. So this is modified. You're breathing in simply through the nose and breathing out through the mouth. So in your own time, 5 breaths, breathing in through the nose and breathing out through the mouth. Open time. And just another breath or two. There's a guru that Jamie loves, he's called Wim Hof, and his opening sequencing to increasing immunity and resilience is this breath, but he does it more quickly and more audibly. So then still sitting up, and you're just very gently opening your arms and kindness and self-compassion to you. Just hug yourself. The option is to bring the chin to the chest, but there is obviously flexibility here if you don't want to bring your head very far down. And just gently sway from side to side. Coming up and releasing the arms out again, remembering which arm was on the top. It was normally the dominant hand that goes to the top. So if you can remember, reverse as you hug again, and just very gently, you're opening the back, chin to chest is connecting into the vagal nerve. So calming the nervous system. Come to sit up, and then we're going to come to lie knees bent on the floor. And again, we're just going to come to start within the somatic movement or awareness, where you feel rather than think something. So knees are bent up to the ceiling, and feet can normally be hip width apart, but if you have a particular desire to have the knees and feet closer together, or knees touching even, that's fine. And hands can be palms down or alongside your palms resting on the abdomen. And just start by letting the head turn to the left. And stay here for an in and an out breath. Feel the heaviness of the head relaxing on the floor. And then very gently let the head come back to the centre. And let the head move over to the right. And again, stay here for an in and an out breath. It's not important how much you turn your head, it's a gentle nod in the direction. And bringing the head back, and again, just very gently let the head move in your own time. Once more to the left, and feel free to stay there. Coming back to the centre, and then very gently go over to the right again. Let the weight of the head drop into the mat. And then bringing the head back to centre, And once more, take your left hand to somewhere in the chest area where your hand naturally falls. And once more, take the right hand towards the navel. If you've reversed your hand, that doesn't really matter. Connecting into the two centres of the navel and the heart. And again, imagining that golden or silver thread linking the heart to the navel to the heart. And then staying with your body where it is, open the arms out alongside you in a T. If a T is too strong, just lower the arms slightly to an A. Just be comfortable. You're creating space under the arms. And visualizing a white light coming in through the fingers, going up the arms, all the way up to the shoulders into the heart area. And as you breathe out, the breath reverses and the white light leaves, going back as it came up, through the shoulders and down through the arms, out through the fingers. And just a couple of breaths in your own time. Imagine the white light filling you up and just relaxing and opening you. And then just very gently release the image of the light. And come with your arms back to either alongside you or on hands resting on the abdomen. As we very gently just sway the knees from side to side. And the head can stay static, or the head can join in, and the head can go normally away from the direction of the knees, but whatever works for you. And how much you roll the knees to the side is again up to you. And then very gently bring the knees back to the centre. And stretch one leg and then the other leg out along that, so as you are in a form of Shavasana. You can relax the feet out to the side. The palms can be turned up, or if that feels quite vulnerable, you can bring your palms to the abdomen. And for the moment, just focus on circling both ankles in one direction. And then circling both ankles in the other direction. And then just stretching the toes out and then just relaxing them. So the next sequence you can either do lying on the floor like this with the legs outstretched, or if you like a softer version, then you can bend your knees with the feet on the ground. We're going to be raising the hands above the head. So whichever option you choose, hands down, palms down alongside you. If your feet are extended along the mat, then extend the heels. And breathing in, bending the elbows, raising the arms up above you and behind you as little or as much as you would like. The chin goes slightly to the chest, you're stretching out along the mat. And then breathing out, the back connects to the ground, the arms lower, and then relax the feet out to the side. And just take a moment to tune in and decide if you want to stay like that or if you would like to bend your knees up to the ceiling. It's optional. Sometimes bending the knees up flattens the back to the ground, it's softer. So whichever you stick with, arms up above the head, stretching out. Hold for a second and then start to breathe out and start to lower the arms back down alongside you. And then carry on doing that a couple of times in your own breath pattern. Breathing in, just checking the back of the neck is long. If it's stiff under the arms, then keep a bend in the elbows. And then breathing out, lowering the arms. And again, a couple of times in your own breath pattern. And then just very gently come to relax. And if you can imagine bending your knees slightly and the soles of the feet, if not together, then aiming towards each other. That really does open out in the lower thigh. And if that's too much, then lift your knees slightly up towards one another. And then just gently, arms above you, elbows bent. You can have your arms apart or just holding. And just a couple of breaths in a pose called Sukta, which is supine, I suppose. Sukta lying, Baddha Konasana. Baddha is bound and Konasana is like an angle, so it's basically cobbler's pose and angle pose. And then very gently lower the arms back down alongside you and bring your hands to either side of the knees or the thighs, and then hug the knees into the chest. And your hands here can be over the knees or under the knees. Stretching out the lower back and working on the Apana energy. The Apana energy links to the earth and is a more gross energy than the finer energies of air, which are linked to the higher energy centres. And so when starting to work, it's sometimes easier to work on the body and the grosser energies in order to be able to access the finer energies. So in yoga, the physical asanas are the third thing of the 8 parts of yoga. It's number 3, and the aim is very much more the breath and meditation. But sometimes you need to work with the grosser body before you can access the finer elements. And then holding the knees, hugging them in, and still holding them, let them drift to arm's length. And repeat that hugging in a few times. Hugging in as you breathe out, it's a natural breathing out, and breathing in as the knees drift away. Again, this is working on the lower foundational Apana energy. If hugging the knees into the chest feels a little bit constricting, there's always the option to just open the knees slightly apart, which gives more space. And then make the next one the last one. And supporting the knees, bring the feet very gently to the ground. Knees up towards the ceiling, and perhaps this time have the feet slightly wider than hip width apart, so as the knees can just rest together in constructive rest. And come back to either just resting the hands on the abdomen, or once again resting one hand, perhaps the left hand at the heart centre and the right hand at the navel centre. Which way round you do it doesn't really matter. And connecting again to the movement of the breath in the body. Letting the energy settle. And then just very gently keeping your knees to the ceiling, but perhaps bringing your feet hip width apart and your feet fractionally closer to the bottom. And palms are down alongside you for a couple of pelvic tilts. So that's flattening your back to the ground and then releasing. And then flattening the back to the ground as if you're going to lift your bottom. And then just release. With your hands, hold the mat. So your thumbs are on top and the fingers are underneath the mat. And your thumb pulls the mat away from your bottom towards the feet, which brings your shoulders fractionally in. Your chin is slightly tucked to your chest. And having that hold there ready to support you with your hands, press your feet down, make your thumbs go towards your feet as you then lift up your body in a form of supported bridge. Chin goes to the chest, and you lift up as little or as much as you would like. And then when you're ready to breathe out, start breathing out and start to lower the back down to the ground. Really taking the time to connect as you unravel like a string of pearls, the vertebrae of the back, and just connect back to the earth. And once again, just you're taking an in and an out breath to relax on the ground. But when you're ready, breathing out, press your feet down into the earth and lift up. You can breathe in or out on the up. Lift. Chin to chest, and then relaxing, lowering back down again. I said you could breathe in or out, so I should perhaps just explain that. You get more control over your body when you move on an exhalation, but in order to move on the exhalation, then you have to wait for the next exhalation to come down. So we can just try that again. Breathe out, and then start to lift your body up. When you get to the top, breathe in, and then breathing out, lower your body back down to the ground. And just release everything. The other way round is to breathe in as you lift up. And then you can hold it for a breath or two, but effectively you're breathing out as you're coming down. And that applies to a lot of yoga. You can take longer to do the pose and only move on the exhalation, which is very helpful if you want to gain more control over the core. So then just very gently releasing that, and once more hugging the knees into the chest. And just this time rocking slightly from side to side. And we're going to come to rolling, we're going to come to lying on our fronts, but you can do this rolling onto the side, and then rolling onto the front, however you want to do this. Again, being very mindful of coming forward, we're going to come to a Sphinx pose, which effectively brings you up a little bit so that you're not lying quite so low. So a Sphinx pose is on the elbows and the head is slightly up. You're looking down, but you're not putting pressure on looking down. Is that all right?
Yes, fine, yeah.
Okay. And then just wobble the bottom from side to side. I think I've said before, in another style of yoga, yin yoga, you stay like this for between 3 and 5 minutes. Press your elbows into the ground and just slightly pull yourself forward and then release. And just enjoy breathing in and out. So the more you press your elbows down, and just adjust them to feel comfortable, the shoulders go away from the ears, back of the neck's long. And then just very gently, if you're able to, open your elbows to the side, resting your head either down or to the side. If you go to the side, then you come to the other side, even yourself up. Knees slightly further apart, and soles of the feet to the ceiling. And then just sway your feet like a windscreen wiper action from side to side. If you had got your head to the side, you might like to change, to turn the head to the other side. But if you're looking down, then just stay looking down. And again, how much you sway your feet is up to you. And then come to the centre. Lower the legs back down onto the floor. And tuck the toes to lift your knees and just bring your knees back to being in line with one another. Relax your feet and then just gently wobble again. And then sliding the hands out from underneath you. We're going to come to tabletop. So classically for yoga, you place your hands either side of your chest, elbows up, press down and come up. That's quite strong. If that's too much for you, you can roll to the side and bend your knees up and then come to kneeling. So come to whichever suits you. Come to kneeling. Just again, is that too much for your nose?
No, I think I'm okay. I might have to keep my head up slightly, but as I said, I have no idea what's going to happen. Do it the way it's meant to be done, and if I need to, feel I need to modify, I will.
Okay, all right then. So just a couple of classic rounding the back, chin to chest, modifying how much you need to, and then breathing in, dipping the back, and looking either up or along the mat. And just a couple in your own variational version to suit you. And then next time you round your back, round it and bring your bottom towards the heels, stretching out. And then as you breathe in, to come up, have a sense of leading with your chest, which will dip your back to come through back to tabletop. And then round the back, chin to chest. Again, how much is up to you. Bottom towards the heels. And then dipping the chest, leading with the chest. And the head too as you come up. Again, rounding. You do it in your own time. Rounding bottom towards the heels, stretching out. And then leading with the chest to dip through and to come up. And then as you come back to all fours, slide the hands towards your knees and kneel up. Opening the palms outwards and looking up. This is a form of moon salute. Turning the palms down and coming back to all fours. Sliding the hands to a comfortable position and then dipping the back, looking up, rounding the back. Bottom towards the heels. This time we're going to come to rest for a little while, so perhaps knees out, big toes sort of touching. And so that you don't come down too much, make a double fist, one fist on top of the other, so that when you can rest your forehead on the fists, and the higher up you go, the less forward you'll come. So it's a resting position. The heart is parallel to the ground. The back of the neck is long. It's very good for headaches, for keeping the blood sort of there. You're not draining the blood from your head. And then very gently come up. We're going to come to lie on our backs. Knees bent again. Feet hip width apart. And hands out either as a T or an A, or if that is too much for under the arms, you can rest the hands on your abdomen. And just let both knees drop to the right. Your left hip might lift up. And you might turn to look towards the left or keep your gaze upwards. Take an in and an out breath here. You've also got the option, as you bring your knees back to the centre, to bring the feet together so that the knees move as one, and it's purely a matter of personal preference. Going to the knees to the other side, to the left, either looking up or looking over slightly to the right, eyes open or closed. And you can move dynamically going from side to side, or you can choose to rest to each side with a couple of breaths. We're connecting again to somatic movement, where the movement is very much one of feeling and disconnects the mind from the movement. So the mind, the nervous system has an additional chance to calm down. And then coming back to the centre. And whether you choose to have your knees up or stretched along the ground, we're just going to have a sense of connection to the body by bringing the attention to the feet and just relaxing the feet, the tops of the feet and the soles, the heels, shins and calves, knees, backs of the knees, thighs, hips. Tense the knees and then relax them. Bringing the attention to the arms and hands, relaxing the hands, the tops, the hands and palms, the fingers, and moving through from the hands to the wrists, to the forearms, elbows, backs of the elbows and the tops of the arms and the shoulders. Tense the arms and relax them. Moving through from the lower abdomen, along the front up to the chest and the collarbones. And actually lift the back, the chest off the ground, and then consciously just reconnect the back to the ground and release and relaxing. Consciously lift the shoulders up to the ears and consciously lower the shoulders away from the ears. And just very subtly turn once more the head from side to side. Feel that you're smoothing across the eyebrows and the forehead, across the temples and along the jawline to the chin and the throat area. And then coming up to the lower and upper lips. And settling the focus to the nostrils as you breathe in, imagining the air like a fine veil going to a point in the centre of the head. And as you breathe out, this veil of air travels through the body, taking anything with it that you don't want today, any thought or any anger or pain. And it leaves through the soles of the feet. And again, your veil of transparent air comes in through the nostrils and floats to a point that you imagine to be the centre of the head. And breathing out, it floats down, taking with it anything you don't want today. And this time, choose a colour, any colour. And as you breathe in, your air becomes coloured air, your colour choice, transparent and fine, going to the centre of the head. And then the whole air, as it floats down, is colour, taking with it, again, anything you don't want, and leaving through the soles of the feet. And our final breath awareness is to breathe in, once again, through the nose to the centre of the head, but then expand the awareness of the colour, both inside and outside the body, so that you're wrapping like an auric egg cocoon. And then just once more let out breath float down, cleaning as it goes, leading through the soles of the feet. And you remain wrapped in your cocoon of auric colour, transparent colour, conferring protection for the day. And just while you're cocooned in your colour choice, have a moment to set your thought for the day, your wish for the day, your sun colour a couple of times. And then having set that wish, just let that thought go, intentions being set. And just bring the palms of the hands and place them over your closed eyes. Just open the eyes into the darkness of the hands. And just very gently, you move the hands to the side to let the light back in gently. And then hug one knee and then the other knee to the chest. And very gently rock from side to side. You can again hug the knees in and let them go to arm's length as well. It's a freestyle Apana reconnection. And then taking all the time you need to come to a seated position. So you might like to roll to the side, to the right, or just come up, taking your time to a seated position. And bringing the hands to the heart. Breathing in, just opening out. Breathing out, chin to chest. Breathing in, just opening out. Breathing out, chin to chest. And the last breath, taking a bow for yourself for the day ahead. Thank you for joining me.